What's up guys, welcome back. New counter fairy support was revealed I believe last night with the leaks of the new structure deck. A couple of new cards, let's take a quick look at the new cards first, and then as always a few example duels. The first one is a new Sanctuary in the Sky. Well, it's actually called Sanctuary of Parshath, so it's searchable, and that's the only way to search this continuous spell. It's not a field spell, otherwise this deck would have been definitely much better for most obvious reasons, right? To search any field spell, terraforming, etc, set rotation, and so on. But you know, this new Sanctuary is only searchable off of your Arc Parshath. And the new Sanctuary has three effects. First effect is that when it's on the field, you know your fairy monsters will gain a small attack boost and defense boost of 300, and that counts for both players. Both players cannot target face down spells and traps for, you know, destruction effects, for example. That's good since it somewhat protects your spells and traps against something like Twin Twister from your opponent. Its third effect is it's okay. It's like target 3 cards in your graveyard, either fairy type monsters and or counter traps, and then arrange their order and put them on the top of your deck. So that's good. I mean, getting back those bountifuls or your counter traps to put them back on top of your deck, that's all fine. So a good card. We needed a replacement for Sanctuary in the Sky, but this card is not searchable, at least for not like a consistent way. And then that's one of the reasons why I still opt to play, yeah, you know, that somewhat inconsistent engine of the field spell Sanctuary in the Sky and the Zeridias, I believe the name is Herald of Heaven. But it's up to you if you want to still main deck the field spell search engine, since I like cards like Divine Punishment, or yeah, you could look at this, you can play it like the other way around, like not play any of these searching cards, not play the field spell, not play Sanctuary in the Sky, and drop the main deck cards that heavily rely on having a Sanctuary in the Sky face up on the field. That's definitely an option, so it's up to you if you want to go to this Sanctuary approach of, you know, playing these cards like Divine Punishment, or maybe competitively speaking for YCS level of play, maybe this isn't the most consistent build, but again, that's up to you. Another new card was revealed is a counter trap, very good card as well, Reincarnating Parshath, if I'm not mistaken the name is. It's a good card, but its cost is kinda heavy. Again, when your opponent activates any spell, trap or monster effect, you have to reveal, if you activate it, you have to reveal a counter trap in your hand, and after this, apparently its real cost starts, so if you have Ariadne on the field, you don't have to pay this cost of, you know, paying 1000 life points and discarding 1 card. So at any moment, even with Ariadne on the field, you apparently still need to have a counter trap in your hand for activating your Reincarnating Parshath. Then after that, you know, the effect is negated and that card will be sent back to the deck, so that's good. After that, if you want, you can special summon any Parshath monster from your deck or from your extra deck. So you know, this new Arc Parshath from your main deck, it's definitely an option. But if you want, you can like extra deck your Synchro Parshath, your Avenging Knight Parshath as somewhat of an extra target to special summon to the field. This is again currently my main deck, 42 cards, reason being triple pot of desires as well. Too many times I, you know, activate Pot of Duality and reveal another duality, or, you know, activate desires and draw into another desires, or opening with multiple desires. 42 seems like good. Also seen people main deck like 45, 50 cards with the new counter fairies. Yeah, that's something I definitely want to try out. You will see in the video that I'm playtesting a high variation of cards. Last new cards for this new counter fairy, at least deck, or in general, is Ebe. I hope I pronounced it right, but I don't think it's too good here in the deck. It's like when it's sent to the graveyard, you can banish fairy type monsters and then add fairy type monsters from your deck to your hand, or at least level 2 or lower. So something like adding Herald could be okay, or if I'm not mistaken, you can also add Time Maiden to your hand from your deck. But in this build, in counter fairies, I don't think your EB will have like a place. So yeah, let's see a few example duels. Okay, first example, I think I have like 6 or 7 games ready. Again, at least with this new support, the fact that your counter fairy deck, counter fairies, the fact that you want to start, that doesn't change. You definitely want to go first, you want to establish your board, right? The biggest weakness of this deck is still, if you go second and your opponent has like an established board, as you will see in a few moments again, it's very rough for this deck to beat down an established board. You could play like multiple board wipes, Raigeki, Darkhole, but still, drawing those cards, and of course, if your opponent has something like the Invincible Crystal Wing, if you're playing against Wind Witches, or for example, those board wipes aren't really doing anything as well. Also one of the reasons why I still play the Air Mirror Force here in the deck. Okay, I have one of the fairies in at least on my side of the field, and I still main deck one Ties of the Brethren. I've main decked like 3 copies before, 2 copies even, but eventually opt to drop it to 1. If I open with it, it's all fine, but after that it seems a bit more dead. But the most important reason why I'm only main decking 1 is Guard of the Mice. Both cards at multiples in a main deck, they don't really work well together. If you have both, then most of the time activating Guard of the Mice is much more important and much better, right? Compared to Ties of the Brethren. Biggest advantage of this deck is still the fact that you're playing a lot of unfair cards like, you know, activate Guard of the Mice, draw 3 or draw 2, set another copy of Guard of the Mice, or activate Desires, activate Duality into Guard of the Mice, activate Guard of the Mice. That's definitely still the biggest advantage of this counter fairy, or yeah, of counter fairies in general. So if I would be a counter fairy player, I would hope that they won't hit Guard of the Mice. Anyway, here, okay, I was able to use my reincarnating Parshath to, you know, at least, it's like pretty much an ultimate Providence, I believe the name is, right? Negate any spell, trap, or monster effect from your opponent, and then, if you can, like, special summon a Parshath to your side of the field. At this point of my playtesting, I was playing a Duelist Alliance, but oh man, that card sucks. No, I think this was only the only duels I actually got to play, and the other games it was dead. Dead weight, dead top decks eventually dropped Duelist Alliance eventually, and I'm not main decking Luster Pendulum. My biggest concern here is again pendulums, or you know, with the new link mechanic, and the pendulum zones are now, you know, in your spell and trap card zone. So you're already activating your Guiding Ariadne, and then after that you only have like 4 spots left. And yeah, the Luster Pendulum, okay, it can be good. Well, it's of course good with your Ariadne, but again, the fact that it takes one of those important back row spaces, and it's the card on its own isn't really too good as well. So, but it's up to you if you want to main deck that one. Okay, the opponent gets to start. My hand is terrible. Okay, have Desires. I hope I draw 2 good cards off of Desires, but he reveals the Edge. Very, very clutch. At least one of the best hand traps currently in the game, if not the best. You know, against Guard of the Mice, Pot of Desires, those important draw cards here for counter fairies. And yeah, Ultimate Providence again being nicely dead, both in my hand and in the back row, and I believe it's Minerva that's on my side of the field. Also a 1-off in the deck, just seems fine, right? Opening with it's not too great, but yeah, later in the duel, mid-game, if you have like multiple counter traps in your graveyard, start recycling them is definitely good. Okay, next deck, I believe the opponent is playing Kaiju Wind Witch, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it should be. So that's, I think, one of the better opening hands you can have, right? With the Invincible Crystal Wing. The only odds that I'm playing for that is, like, Honest. And, you know, if he activates Crystal Wing to negate the Honest, negate Crystal Wing itself, you know, with Solemn Strike or whatever, it's not destroyed, but you know, the effect is negated, so it will still be destroyed by battle eventually. Or, you know, the Air Mirror Force, the Air Storm Mirror Force is also definitely an out. Still one of the reasons why I prefer running any Mirror Force, really, in this deck. Okay, I tried to use the Sanctuary, the new Sanctuary in the Sky, the Parshath Sanctuary, to, I believe, target 3 counter fairies and or, you know, counter traps, and stack them to the top of my deck in any order. That's good since, you know, you can eventually get back your Arch Parshath when it's in the grave. Just get it back to your deck to eventually special summon it with your reincarnating Parshath, as I do now here, get it on the field. I'm not really sure if you, like, play like a 12 round YCS that you need to run the big Arch Parshath. It's like a card you definitely don't want to draw, and in most games it's going to be like the Gem Knight Garnet, you know, opening with it, and then it's like, again, opening with this card. So eventually Kaiju's still very popular in today's format, getting rid of the Bountiful Artemis. Okay, use Punishment, I believe, to get rid of the Fairy Tail, since, you know, Fairy Tail can bounce back as Kaiju, so definitely negate that effect. And I still have some Field Presence, draw 2, 2/2 Card of the Demise, lose the Honest, but I think it's well worth it because of the Strike, I believe, not really sure. The Air Mirror Force, indeed, okay. Top deck into another Card of the Demise, yes, the skill is real. There is the other, yeah, another Honest, okay, that's all fine. Yeah, eventually go into the battle phase and attack for the game. So yeah, if you get the deck rolling with Bountiful, you can get like a lot of draws, and then yeah, you're pretty much set to win the entire duel. Next example, the opponent gets to start again, at least the opponent gets to start again. The Crystal Wing in defense, not really sure what's up with that. Use Raigeki to, you know, get myself an extra spot, a free empty spot in my hand, so use Card of the Demise. 3 draws, and I still draw the one of Ties. Okay, that's not a big deal, can't use it. But okay, 4 back rows, draw another Card of the Demise. That card is so sick. Konami definitely should hit it, but not really sure if TCG Konami is going to do so. And I believe again he's going to recklessly attack, yeah, into the Air Mirror Force. Again, like a lot of people still attack into any Mirror Force, right? The regular Mirror Force, the Air Mirror Force, Sandstorm Mirror Force. Maybe, yeah, you can still run the Sandstorm, although, you know, Lynx will not be hindered by it since they can't be put in defense position, but still, it's definitely also an option. Okay, 2 monsters, that's good. Honest, use a Strike to negate the Honest, but that's where the Punishment comes into play, giving me an extra draw here. I believe that Reincarnation is live, but I think the Parshath is in my grave, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's still in the deck, indeed. Yeah, again, I wasn't able to activate it, indeed. I believe the Parshath is banished, yeah, since here I special summoned the Parshath from my extra deck, so the Arch Parshath is indeed banished off of Desires, if I'm not mistaken. But him activating the Scapegoat in the end phase to, you know, have like multiple Link summons ready next turn. But I wasn't paying attention to my deck size, and I was like, you lose, huh? I just didn't see, yeah, wasn't paying enough attention here, so I probably just should have suicide with my Bountiful Artemis, and then, you know, giving me the 1 draw during my next turn, and probably I could have gone for game, I think, or at least, yeah, use my, if I had my Sanctuary phase up, you know, refuel my deck. Anyway, last example, and again, okay, I'm in a very good position. He does use Cyclone to try to get rid of Sanctuary of the Parshath, but just use a second one and do again establish my top deck Bountiful Artemis, unless, no, I don't have a counter trap, so I can't use my Reincarnating Parshath to, you know, special summon the Parshath from my deck here that I just sent back. There is a Slumber, one of the only outs here to get rid of the Bountiful Artemis. Use my Ultimate Providence, I believe, and eventually, yeah, indeed, was able to draw into a counter trap. Perfect. So that lets me activate my Parshath trap card, get a Parshath on board, and now I can just attack for game. So again, this is currently my build. Feel free to leave suggestions. I think the biggest question is, do we still need to run those field spell, at least the field spell engine of the level 4? And, you know, your Sanctuary in the sky. Maybe it's just better or a bit more consistent to drop this small engine and maybe the Punishment as well, and like add in more cards like Force Back. Force Back is definitely a good card, but I believe it's better side-decked for going first. Other than that, I didn't like Duelist Alliance. Drastic Drop-Off, okay, that could be good, especially with those new cards as well, you know, get them back from the grave. Moon Mirror Shield as well is also something that I definitely want to fit in the main deck. Okay, guys, that's it. Feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.